Had a question about how to trade Forex with pivot points. And here's a simple demonstration. So, for example, today we have an upside bias on the Australian US dollar currency pair. Risk sentiment is broadly on after good news concerning a vaccine for the treatment of COVID-19 has spurred equity markets, and risk sentiment remains positive at the moment for the day. So, given the fact that our bias for the Australian US dollar is upside, we're seeing US dollar weakness. US dollar has been acting as a safe haven currency, so we are expecting further US dollar weakness, and the Australian dollar as a high beta currency, we are expecting strength. So we are expecting Australian US dollar upside. So the way you would apply this to trading with pivot points is really quite simple. So on the TradingView platform, you have the option of using pivots, and here's some traditional pivot points, and they're just overlaid on the chart. Now, the way it works is that you want to buy from support levels. So just use the pivot points in exactly the same way as you would support and resistance. So this would tell us that on this intraday basis, any return back to this R1 level could be considered suitable for buying. And similarly, any return to this pivot point, the actual pivot point, could be considered suitable for buying, and anything below could be suitable for buying. Now, obviously, this is an intraday trade, so you'd have to get quite a long way down. It's unlikely we'd go as far down as the support 1 level. But if we did, and if the sentiment still remained the same, then we could consider longs from these levels here. So that's the way to use the pivot points. Use them as support and resistance levels. And the basic rule of thumb is that any full pullback into those support levels can be considered opportunities for buying when you have an upward bias on the pair. If your bias is to sell the pair, then any moves back up to the higher resistant pivot points would be considered suitable for shorting. So that's just the rough rule of thumb for trading with pivot points. You're buying from the levels below, and you're selling from the levels above.